Hello everybody. Today I can prepare for my quiz on fractional exponents by practicing and following my procedure, also known as Fractional Exponents Regents practice. This is going to, even if you're not taking a quiz, this is good practice for the Regents questions on fractional exponents. So we have our song for fractional exponents, but we're going to skip that for now, because if it's multiple choice, which we're going to deal with first, the problems can get real challenging, and it's much easier for us to just use multiple choice strategy. So that's what I'm going to train you to do. When you see multiple choice questions with fractional exponents and radicals, I'm going to have you use multiple choice strategy. So how do we do multiple choice strategy? Well, we need to start by storing values for x. I'm going to do 10 store as, that's the button above the on button, x. And then I need to store a different value for y in case there's two variables. So I'm going to use 15. I'm going to hit again the store button, alpha 1 for y. Enter. Y, 10 and 15, they're just arbitrary values. You don't have to choose 10 and 15. You can choose any two of your favorite numbers. Make sure they're different. And we want to stay away from 0 and 1. So I'm going to start by typing in the original problem, and what can be a little tricky is knowing how to type this stuff in. Well, I'm going to teach you right now. To type the fourth root in, hit 4, and then to get to that radical, we're going to hit math, and then option 5. Option 5 is any root. Option 4 is the cubed root specifically. Option 5 is any root. And you see the fourth root pops up, 81. X to the power of 8, y to the power of 6. And I get 17,428. Dot, dot, dot. I don't need to write down the exact decimal, but that should be good enough. Now, I'm going to go through each choice and type that in and see which one matches up. Alpha 1 for y to the power of, to type the fraction in, alpha y equals. Enter. I get 17,428, dot, dot, dot. That one matches up. I'm looking at the rest of the choices. I can't really see how any of them will also be equivalent to that. But I'm going to go through all the choices just to be sure, because that's a good habit to be in. So choice 1 looks good, but I'm going to check the rest of them. 3x to the 4th y squared is 675 with 4 zeros after it. Choice 3, 9x squared y to the power of alpha y equals. Enter. 3 halves. 52285. There's some stuff after it. I can just write dot, dot, dot. That represents that there's more. 9x to the 4th, y to the alpha 1, y to the 2nd, 2025 with 4 zeros after it. Which one matches up to the original? Choice 1. So we talked about multiple choice strategy earlier this year. You can watch the video on that, although this will be pretty comprehensive as well. Type in the original problem, type in each choice, see which one matches up. Just make sure you store values for x and y before you do that. The first couple of questions on this aren't bad to do by hand, but starting with number 3, they start getting a little bit harder. So we're just going to train ourselves to always use multiple choice strategy for these multiple choice questions. We'll do them by hand for the open responses later in this lesson. Now here, instead of x and y, I have b and d, so I'm just going to replace the b's with x's and the d's with y's. B's with x's, d's with y, b with x, d with y, b with x, d with y, since I have stored values for x and y already. So we're going to start with the original problem. Let's get my calculator up. I've got 3x to the power of alpha y equals enter 2 over y, alpha 1 for y. I get 1.57 dot, dot, dot. Now I'm going to go through each choice. Choice 1, to type the fraction in, alpha y equals enter 1 over. To get that y root, I start by hitting y, and then again to type any root in, I hit math option 5, a little x outside the radical. And you see the y goes in the proper spot. What I did forget to do, though, is put the parentheses there. I want to type everything in exactly as I see it. So parentheses, then my y, then math option 5, 3x, parentheses, squared. Does that look right? Yes, that's 0.635. Not equivalent to my original, so I don't think that's my answer. So I'm going to move on to choice 2. That's a regular radical. I still have to put the parentheses there, so I don't have to go into my math menu for a regular radical. 3x, and then outside parentheses to the power of y. 1.19 E11. That is not equivalent to my original. So I go to my next choice. Alpha y equals enter 1 over second radical 3x to the power of y. 1.82 e negative 8. Nothing's matching up. I'm hoping this last one does, or else we got some problems, but I'm confident. Parentheses, that y root, so I hit alpha 1, math 5. Inside the radical is 3x. Outside the parentheses is squared. 1.57 dot, dot, dot. Whew, it matches up. Choice 4 is your answer. Again, the first two really aren't that bad to do by hand, even though I did them in the multiple choice strategy, but these questions tend to be very hard if they're multiple choice. So that's why I'm trying to train you to do the multiple choice strategy with them. I want to just do one more together. Number 7, I want to do it partially together. Why don't you take a minute right now and type in the original problem, and then I want to go over, you know what, I don't think I need to. Let me just talk about what I want you to do. The choices. When you have a number in front of the radical, it can be really tricky to type in. So what I want you to do is put parentheses around the radical, including the root. If you don't do that, you're going to run into some problems. Now, I don't have to do it for this one right here, since it's a regular radical. I don't have to use the math menu. However, let's just keep it consistent and do that. So, that being said, I'm going to give you a few minutes right now. I want you to type in the original problem, write down what it gives you, type in each answer, see which one matches up. So please pause the video and do that. Okay, now that you tried number 7 on your own, I'm going to go over it with you. I'm going to start by typing in the original problem. Regular radical, I hit second radical, 16x squared times x to the power alpha y equals enter 2/3 plus cubed root is math 4. You also could hit 3 and then math 5, but you don't have to. If it's cubed root, there's a special button for that, which I just pressed. My original problem is 278 dot, dot, dot. Now I'm going to type in each choice, and again, make sure that you put parentheses around the radical, or else it's not going to come out very well. So, cubed root, math 4, x to the power of 5, 278, ... I think I have my answer, but I will go through the rest of the choices just in case. To type in the fifth root, 5, then math 5, x to the third, 23, ... That does not match up. 4, and then for cubed root, I put the parentheses, math option 4, x squared, close the parentheses, plus 2, new parentheses for the second one, math 4, x to the power of 5, 111, let's put it here, and choice 4, parentheses, regular radical, x to the third, plus 2 parentheses, fifth root, 5, math 5, x cubed, close the parentheses, 134, ... Which one matches up? Choice 1. So for fractional exponents and radicals, if it's multiple choice, I want you to just use multiple choice strategy, type in the original, type in each answer, see which one matches up. Next, we're going to move into the open response ones. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to do everything by hand. We're going to follow these steps, and to help us with these steps, we have our song. So let's go through our song. I'm on Math Schlansky on YouTube, Common Core Alphabet 2 songs, and where are my exponents at? Here they are.
Radicals are fractional exponents. Get rid of parentheses. Negative exponents are fractions. Get up and see.
One more time.
Radicals are fractional exponents. Get rid of parentheses. Negative exponents are fractions. Clean it up and see.
All right, so those are the steps we need to follow whenever we're doing these exponent problems. So I'm going to literally copy and paste the steps for each question, and let's, well, 10 is actually a little bit different, but it's the same type of thing. It says explain what a rational exponent such as 5 over 2 means. Use this explanation to evaluate 9 to the 5 over 2. Well, the answer is pretty much always the same. Radicals are fractional exponents. And we'll say fractional slash rational. So a rational expression is basically a fraction. So those terms are relatively interchangeable when it comes to fractions. A fractional equation is also called a rational. I'm sorry, a fractional exponent is also called a rational exponent. So radicals are fractional slash rational exponents, and then it's always the power over the root. So if I'm doing 9 to the 5 halves, the power is 5, the root is 2. Whatever is being put inside, whatever is being raised to the power goes inside the radical. The power is 5, the root is 2. I like to always evaluate the root first. The square root of 9 is 3. To the 5th, use a calculator if you need to. 3 to the power of 5 is 243. So to evaluate fractional exponents, well, radicals are fractional exponents, and the fraction is always the power over the root. So we put whatever is being raised to the power, again, inside the radical. The power is 5, the root is 2, the root always goes outside. Evaluate the root first, then raise it to that power. You could do the power first and then the root, it just gets bigger. It's easier to do the root first. Same type of thing for number 11. Explain how the 125 to the 4/3 power can be evaluated. Now remember when we did this, I said you can type this into the calculator and get an answer that's not going to help you for a question like this. So radicals are fractional exponents. And it's always the power over the root. So I take that 125. Well, let's start with the original problem. I take the 125, I put it in a radical. It's the power over the root. The power is 4, the root is 3. Do the root first, the cubed root of 125. If you don't know that, ideally you know how to do that mentally, but if you don't, the cubed root is math option 4. Cubed root of 125 is 5 to the 4th power. I can do that mentally, but that's a little trickier. I think it's 625, but we can do 5 to the power of 4. Yes, I got it right. 625. So you have to understand that to do a fractional exponent, radicals are fractional exponents. It's always the power over the root. So I take whatever's being raised to the power, I put it inside a radical, and then it's always the power over the root. Again, we did this in the given fractional exponents lesson, but these are literally Regents questions that they ask, phrased exactly this way, and the answer is always just radicals are fractional exponents, it's the power over the root, and then you do it. So number 12 is the same thing, 13 is pretty much the same thing, which brings us to 14. These are like the real problems. Not the other ones weren't real problems, but these are the ones where we're really following a procedure. Kenzie believes the expression blah, blah, blah is equivalent to that. Is she correct? Well, let's find out. Let's take each side and let's simplify it. My first step, radicals are fractional exponents. Do I see radicals? Yes. So I'm going to rewrite this as a fractional exponent, power over the root. Again, a radical, power over the root. And I want to see if that's equal to power over the root. Get rid of parentheses. There's no exponents outside parentheses, so I don't have to deal with that step here. Negative exponents are fractions. No negative exponents, we move on. Clean it up and multiply. Do I see multiplication here? Yes. When I'm multiplying, I add the exponents. So it's x to the 2/7 plus 3/5. Now, fractions can be kind of annoying to add, so it might be easiest to just put that into the calculator. I'm not going to teach you 7th grade getting fractions. In this lesson, 2/7 plus 3/5 is 31 over 35. That got a little sloppy. Let me just rewrite that. So are they equal? Oh man, I can't write a 5 on this thing. I feel like my stylus pen is just getting a little worn. No, they're not equal. So is she correct? No. Justify your response algebraically. I just did that here. So don't be confused about the way they word the problem. Do the problem, and if they say they think they know what the answer is, then do it and see what the answer is. No, they were not the same because they're not. Follow the steps of the song, and you'll get your right answer every time. Justify why blah, blah, blah is equivalent to blah, blah, blah. So again, this one's actually telling you the answer, but you need to do the work to get there. Radicals are fractional exponents. I'm going to rewrite the radicals as fractional exponents. In the top one, the power is 1, the root is 3. On bottom, The power is 1. The root is 4. Get rid of paren, and I'll just, all right, equals x to the negative 1/12, y to the 2/3. Get rid of parentheses. Everything inside gets the parentheses, so it's x to the 2/3, y to the 5/3. Again, multiplying fractions is pretty simple. To do 2 times 1/3, I'm just doing 2 times 1 is 2 over 3. If they don't divide nicely, don't divide them. 5 times 1/3, 5 times 1/3, 5 times 1 is 5 over 3. I can't divide them, I leave it. On bottom, I'm not going to do the work off to the side there. 3 times 1 is 3 over 4 is 3 over 4. 4 times 1 is 4 over 4 is 1. I just bring over the right-hand side. Negative exponents are fractions. Well, I see negative exponents on the right. I'm kind of running out of space here, so let's see what we can do about that. So on my left-hand side, I'm good with negative exponents. So x to the 2/3, y to the 5/3 over x to the 3/4 y. And I'm having a hard time writing for some reason. X to the 3/4 y. But on the right-hand side, I do see a negative exponent. Whatever's being raised to the negative power drops. Clean it up, MD. I see division on the left-hand side. So when I'm dividing, I subtract the exponents. So I'm going to do 2/3 minus 3/4. I'll use the calculator for that. Alpha y equals enter. 2/3 minus 3/4 is negative 1/12. For the y's, 5/3 minus 1 is 2/3. And then again, I see a negative exponent, so I'm going to drop what's being raised to the negative power so that x drops to the bottom. And you see that they equal out. So yeah, it's kind of a long problem, but you're just going to kind of follow the steps. You're going to follow the song, and if you do that, you're good. Is there anything else I want to go over? That's pretty much the same type of thing. That's pretty much the same type of thing. I think that's it. No, I feel like we should go over one more. Let's go over, sure, let's do 18. Radicals are fractional exponents. Do I see radicals? No. So don't have to worry about that step here. Get rid of parentheses. Yes, I do have parentheses. So my top is going to stay. My bottom, the 16 gets the 1/4. And x to the 4th to the 1/4. When I raise a power to a power, I multiply. 4 times 1 is 4. Over 4 is just 1 or x. Negative exponents are fractions. Nope, no negative exponents. Clean it up. So I have a couple of things I can clean up here. First of all, 16th to the 1/4 power. That means the 4th root of 16, which is 2. And then I'm dividing. So when I'm dividing, I subtract the exponents. So first of all, 2 over 2 cancels, or is just 1. For the x's, 3/2 minus 1. I can again go to my calculator if I'm not comfortable adding and subtracting. And when I do that, I get 1/2. And that's it. Now it says it wants the answer in simplest radical form. So I'm going to have to put it back into a radical. It's the power over the root. So the x goes inside. The power is 1. The root is 2. And both of those things don't need to be written because they're both the assumed values. And that's it. Radicals are fractional exponents. Get rid of parentheses. Negative exponents are fractions. Clean it up and multiply, divide, or put it back into a radical at the end. If you follow those steps, you should be good. And if it's multiple choice, then just use your multiple choice strategy that we talked about at the beginning. Again, this question comes up twice on almost every single Regents exam. Not just once, twice. So this is really high in your priority list to make sure you're able to do. And that's all I got for you, your classwork/homeworks to practice. And again, a very important lesson.